imitation, there ain't no hesitation. Come out scraping, Kali style training. Knife to the neck of those who ain't thinking. We trained in the fields of battle, gladiating. When conflict arises, who we facing? Hit them hard, point pressure, bones breaking. This oration keeps my flesh sacred.
Safely, you might use it with the blade covered, with the sheath. You might just train that way. You might train it with the blade, the sheath off, but you would train movements like something like this, like maybe like a 3-strike, something like this. That's it. Like a meet and follow kind of thing. Like we know what we're going to do, or here. Call them partner drills. So you can add complexity to it. So that's how you would train the art. Another way you train is you use rattan instead. So it's the same thing. Same movements. You can freelance it or do made-up patterns. The rattan, people always say, oh, you do that stick fighting stuff. Stick fighting is part of it, but it is a bladed art, ultimately. We like to fight full contact with rattan sticks like this, a little bit bigger than this. But this is essentially a practice weapon. If you, a rattan is actually, although it does hurt, it doesn't have stopping power. And really, even if you were going to do stick fighting, back in the day, you would use something like this. This is kamagong. There's other woods, but you would maybe fashion it a little bit thinner here, so you can see how you can move it a little bit better. Or what's called like a road, which basically you're shaping a hardwood substance like a blade. Because basically what I was told in the very colorful way, when you are fighting somebody, you want them to, you don't want to kill them, you want to splinter their bones so that they're a trophy. So they know, people know that you did that, and you won't have to do it again. So see how that has like a knife edge to it? This is yours as a handle. Pass that around.
Oh, yeah.
So when people say stick fighting, it definitely is what people do, and it's a great way to train. But the art is supposed to transfer to a blade. And it's just cool. It's real pretty wood.
It's really pretty wood. Heavy again.
Another sort of misconception is, oh, what are you going to do if you don't have the sticks? That's another one. Oh, well, if you didn't have your sticks, you know, I'd just box you to death. Well, we have, in the Filipino martial arts, we have boxing. It's just dirty boxing.
Yep.
Once again, remember the, I'll punch you, the idea of defanging the snake, meaning you take away the teeth of the snake, right? So anything they attack, you attack. Oh, yeah. So I don't need to, he doesn't want to have to block something or wait for me to do it again. So you just, there it is, and destroy the thing that's attacking.
Hack in here. A lot of Filipino martial arts disruptions here. Can kick into the back of the other knee for this. You have that clipping shot right behind the ear.
Once again. So I just resent, you know, people say that. The other idea is, if I do something really great and I get this, and then I go here and I punch him in the face and my hand breaks, I can't get to that weapon. Remember how I said, what do you do if you don't have a weapon? You get to a weapon. The idea is that we're not out to hurt people. It's just that we don't fight, but if we're going to fight, it's because somebody broke into our house, somebody's hurting someone that we love, or we're a police person going into a house, we're in the military, we're going in to do something. So it's like, it's usually business. We're not doing this to like pick on people. It's to keep ourselves safe.
Touching on that, one of the things that I especially was drawn to the Filipino martial arts, a lot of hammer fists, a lot of elbows, a lot of open palm strikes, which always allows to get back and to access weapons. Driving straight in is typical in Western boxing, has a tendency to break metatarsals. Mike Tyson shattered both his hands getting into a fight in a casino. Tommy Morrison did the same thing. It's a particularly delicate structure. Even the old karateka, and I've seen them, the guys who grew up in Palama Valley and have just a single knotted callus over all three knuckles, and they train hard. They get into fights, the guy ducks his forehead, and you see the bones kind of tent up in the back of their hand. You've immediately defeated your ability to access weapons. A lot of the Filipino martial arts, or the instructors and things, use a lot of the hammer fists. My instructor always said, you know, about this when you train with the sticks, your knuckle get hit, tender. You don't punch somebody, your knuckles hurt. And it of course translates to, you know, a lot of times you see the hammer fists coming in like that and things like that. But when you put a knife in with a pakal grip, it completely changes the possibilities that open up with that particular technique. It makes them a lot more vicious than they may seem just with the empty hand. A lot of this is, again, training in the open without revealing a lot of your secrets.
A lot of times some of the movements still look dance-like. A lot of the Indonesian stuff, where they're doing their hands like that, like here, like this kind of stuff. They're like kind of like just patting here and stuff like that. Usually it translates to a weapon might be like this. Either like a cock spur or a karumbit. And this blade is actually quite a bit bigger than it needs to be. I've been told the Indonesians, they prefer something that's completely hidden. The other thing is it's really hard to take it away. It's got a hook. But you'll find this in the Philippines, more like a cock spur that I've seen personally, but this is now, but Indonesia, but the same thing, it's kind of hidden. There's no way you'd even see that. But then say a punch comes in, I mean, come on. Even here, I mean, that's the end. So, another reason why you don't want to mess with people, because you never know what they do. So, empty hand movements translate to the weapon. So when you drop your weapon, which you hope you don't do, you don't have to change. Oh, now I'm back to this structure. You know, now we're into hard style karate. All the movements from the weapons, the staffs, the swords, they all translate to empty hand, to a knife, to a stick, to a sword, to a staff. Any questions, thoughts, opinions?
So it's not good to punch somebody like that, or we use a hammer fist?
It's never good to punch somebody. No, I'm kidding. It's, yeah, it's preferable. I still find myself going back to my Western boxing from beating up my brother, while beating up me. Boxing, but usually punch into soft areas, some softer than others.
So you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, and then bottom fists, I'll just give you a little catalog here. So he punches, slaps, be surprised how much that does hurt. Elbows, what we call a hack, which is the big bone here. Elbows again. Shoulder butts. Inside hits. What else do we got? Eye gouge.
Knee.
This is not for your friends at school, by the way. Headbutts, punch. A lot of times we like to do cry on their shoulder, and then this is like the horns of the carabao, right? Like that. Of course, a lot closer. Because if you can see the guy when you headbutt him, it's going to hurt you. So you can't see him. You just kind of go up the arm. So everything's a weapon. Knees, kicks. Did I forget anything?
You'll find a lot of the Philippines, it's a lot of stomping kicks, because if you've been to the Philippines, most parts of the Philippines is not an urban area. It's a lot of muddy, the dirt roads, the rice paddies, things like that. So a lot of the enclosed stuff is stomping. They've got strong, ridiculously strong legs. Like these little Filipinos in big thighs. Coming down, coming through. And it preserves your balance far more than throwing the high kicks or any of the more popular, kind of flashier kicks, but highly effective and my personal favorite.
yeah. Get to the weapons. How about a little knife to knife?